All right, so I wanted to make this quick video so that you could understand how to properly do a crime scene sketch. Um, Most of this I'll go over in class, but if you're not in class, it'll be a little harder for you to figure this out maybe. So you've been given this scene. You are part of a CSI unit called 1435 Spruce Street. A body was discovered at 7:45 a.m. today in the bedroom of the home. There's there's a footprint, a knife, and a cigarette butt, and the body of the victim, Mr. Green, are in the room. It is your job to make a sketch of the scene as part of your evidence documentation. So we talked about this in notes, that all these things have to be included in your sketch: case number, date and time, location, the arrow pointing north, your name, so the sketch artist, that'd be you, evidence numbers. So like the little markers you would see, the yellow markers you see at a crime scene. So those evidence numbers matching your sketch, matching the actual numbers are labeled at the crime scene. And then making a key or a legend that correlates to those evidence numbers. You're also supposed to include locations of doors, windows, just basically any escape routes. Any big furniture is supposed to be included in the drawing. It doesn't have to be measured, but it is supposed to be part of the sketch. Measure to the center of every piece of evidence. We're going to do that to each of these. At right angles to the nearest walls, that's a rectangular measurement. We're actually going to do the triangular measurement as well. So measure from the center of the victim's head. So when you're like, where do I go to? You're going to go to the center of every piece of evidence and the center of the victim's head when you're making our measurements. All right. There are two types of measurements. Being that there are 5 pieces, I want you to do the rectangular method for 3 of them and the triangulation method for 2 of them. And I'm going to explain what those 2 are in these 2 pictures. So the rectangular method is it makes a rectangle. So you're going to locate your piece of evidence. You're going to locate 2 fixed points, usually walls, and you're going to measure from the fixed point, so this being the wall, at a 90-degree angle to the evidence. You're going to go to your other fixed point, usually another wall, and measure from that fixed point to the same point that you went to on the evidence. So they should be in the same point. These arrows probably need to be scooted a little closer to each other because they should meet at the exact same point. Okay. And then you would actually measure this. So you'd actually have your measuring tape out and you would measure exactly how far it was from that fixed point, exactly how far it was from this fixed point, and you would record that in your crime scene sketch so that later when you make a digitized version of the crime scene, you'll get accurately exactly where that piece of evidence was in the room because you measured it. Now, sometimes you can't get a perfect rectangle, so the other method that is used is the triangulation method. It builds a triangle, kind of like it sounds. Same thing, locate the evidence, but this time you're going to go from corners. So from a corner, that might be a desk, a couch, a table, but it has to be a really big, heavy object that isn't going to move, and it can still be from corners of walls. So just from a corner to that middle of the evidence, you're going to go from another fixed point, so it can't be from the same object, it has to be from something else. So another big table, a bed, a different corner wall. You go from that corner and measure to the same point. So again, those arrows should be meeting up because they should be meeting the same point. And again, you measure it and you would record those measurements of how far exactly it was on your crime scene sketch. So now when you're doing this, if you've never done this before, basically I want you to do that. I want you to draw on these rectangular lines. Like I said up here, you're going to do 3. So pick 3 pieces of evidence. I don't care which 3 you're going to do the rectangular method for. So basically they don't have to be from the wall. It could also be from immovable objects like couches and beds, big heavy dressers, something like that, but it's usually from walls. And you make a rectangle and you're going to be doing 2 pieces of evidence from the triangulation. So I should see 3 rectangles and I should see 2 triangles in your evidence piece. Now these numbers, I've numbered it for you. So you literally just need to type in what they were. So like number 1 is Mr. Green's body and you'd put that in there. You'd also fill in this case number this says you make it up. So whatever day you end up doing this, whatever period you end up doing it, that's your date and time. Location, I told you that in your crime scene information up here, and you are the sketch artist. So you have this ruler. So basically, like, the kids in class are going to do this on paper more than likely and actually just use a regular ruler so we can practice measurement. But being that I'm not sure who all has it and I can't know for sure that you'd be able to print it out. This is your digital version. This is your digital ruler and you can move it around. Okay. So you need to insert your lines on this. So how you do that is you go up to here. So see this insert button. So you're going to insert a line. All right, now let's say we're going to do the body, the triangulation method. So I could go from this corner, and remember you're supposed to go to the center of the body's head. There you go. And then I'm going to insert another line. It's from another corner. It has to be a different corner. And same point. Okay. Now I have my lines drawn in, and then you would take your ruler. So this ruler you can maneuver by using this little circle here. I can turn it on its side like that and line it up with the line. Go back down to 0 because I want to know from that point, center of his head, to the wall, and I'm going to measure that. Now this is probably going to be hard for you to see, so remember how you magnify things is you go to this zoom drop down, and I can zoom into 100, and now I can much more easily see my ruler. Okay, so if I was going to be filling that in, let me scoot it back so I can see exactly where it ends. So it looks like it's about here. So it's a little past 6, so that'd be 6.1, and then you estimate a digit, so it'll be like 6.12. If you're using a regular ruler, it should be in centimeters. This is a centimeter side, which means it should go to the hundreds place. So I have not inserted y'all's text boxes, just realized I hadn't done that for y'all yet. So I'll have these in place before you see this. And you would type in your measurement, 6.2. And that's going to be way too big. Uh-oh, I need to highlight it. Now it fits in the box. Okay, so probably what I'll do is I'm going to place some text boxes off to the side, and I'll like right above them that this is where you're going to type in your measurements, which means you should have 2 measurements per piece of evidence. So I'll have enough boxes made for you that you can basically pull them over and then type in whatever measurement you get. Okay, so I'll have those off to the side. So once you've done, let's unzoom so you can kind of see what we're doing. You should have this filled out. You should have your measurements dragged. You should have your measurements dragged and dropped by them, so I can tell that you were saying that this right here is 6.2, and technically I should have put in centimeters so we could be even more scientific, as we should be. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Now the other type of method, remember, is the rectangle method. So if I'm going to be inserting the rectangle method, again, same thing. I'm going to make a line, but you're supposed to have 3 of these. This would be an easy one to do. I'm going to go to this point. You want to go to the center. Try to get it as straight as possible. Keeps trying to choose the 5. That's not what I want it to do. There we go. And then I want to insert another line, but it's going to be from this wall. Why do you keep choosing? I'm going to have to move that 5 over. It's like refusing to go to the knife because I guess it's just attracted to my text box that I built. So I moved it up. Let's see if that helps. So again, I'm going to insert the line. I want it to go straight. There we go. Insert another line from another wall. So fixed point. There we go. Straight. And then you take your ruler and measure those and write them on there. Again, I'll put text boxes probably just right here. I'll like put them all down the side so you can just drag them over as you have measured it. Okay, so you have to do the knife, the body, the footprint, the blood spatter, as well as the cigarette butt. So that's what you were measuring. That's what you're filling in over here. And that's it.